Holy smokes. Good evening, everybody. It is May the 5th, 5/5/25. And that only means one thing. It is the NHL draft lottery tonight. Oh my goodness. So welcome to our special edition episode at a bit of a weird time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be watching the draft lottery live tonight. And we're going to be having some fun talking about whatever happens and some of the results and whatever happens between, you know, 7 and 8 p.m. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's gonna be a heck of an evening. I think a magical evening, if you will. I'm joined by my producer, Mr. AJ Jadero. AJ, how are you?
I
The
am
Leafs are
doing
starting their series
well.
tonight. How are things? Are you stable?
No, never. I'm
All
just making
right,
sure I didn't. Oh, of course, I made a boo boo on the odds that I put up there. Yep, I'm a bad
of course.
producer. It's
All
supposed
right.
to say 11.5 for Nashville, so I'm just going to quickly fix that, and we're going to all pretend I didn't make that mistake. Okay, everybody?
Delay J strikes again. Once again, you
Don't
know.
coin that for me. I don't appreciate it. Thank you very
I
much.
just
You know, I work an 8-hour day, and then I come here and do this for free now. So
Hey, whoa. I told AJ because I knew he was working today. I said, hey, if you need me to quarterback this one myself, I'll do it. And he said, nope.
I'm the
And now
quarterback. Get out of
and now
here.
now he's complaining about, oh, I made a boo-boo because I worked all day. Okay. Well,
Hey, well,
whatever.
I I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it.
We'll forgive it for now. We'll
All right, it's
figure it.
fixed.
We'll be okay.
It's
All right, it's
fixed.
fixed. There, good, wonderful news. What we're gonna do though before the lottery is we're gonna talk a little bit about the Stanley Cup playoffs because how could you possibly not after the events of the last few days? I don't. There is nothing out there. I mean, last night on the broadcast they said it about 6 or 7 times, but there is just nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs, especially the first round. Holy
The only
smokes!
thing I ever agree, the only take Sportsnet has ever made me agree with.
The only one ever,
Yep. Yep.
ever, ever is that. And oh my God. Yeah, incredible last few games. I mean, where do we start, producer man? I
You know where to
honestly like,
start.
what do you mean? Jets? Is that what we're doing tonight?
The home of Brad
Starting
Lambert, even though he
the whole
doesn't
yeah,
play at
elite
all.
elite playoff performer Brad Lambert comes through again in the clutch. No, we're kidding here. But the
Also,
Winnipeg Jets.
I'm gonna tell you all in advance. I'm sorry there will be no timestamps until tomorrow because I'm watching the Leafs game after this. So
Yep.
Delay J will strike in that sense.
Okay, so Delay J is coming out later too. Okay,
Yep.
got
Yep.
it. Got
Yep.
it.
Delay till
Okay,
tomorrow.
well, yeah. So I mean, for anyone who is living under a rock or does not have the internet and television and radio, and I don't know how you're watching the show, but cool. The Winnipeg Jets ripped the rug out from under the St. Louis Blues in the literally dying seconds of their season.
1.6 seconds on the clock.
1.6
And
seconds.
it's your
I
boy,
wonder.
your old boy, Cole Perfetti.
Yeah. What a tip.
Yes.
Oh my
Two
God.
fantastic
What a tip.
tips, by
Yeah.
the way.
Huge. And that's Cole Perfetti, though. Like, I remember him in junior hockey, and he scored a lot of goals, and yeah, really good shooter, but super smart. Got to the middle of the ice, got his stick on the puck a lot of the time, knows how to tip, knows how to shoot. He just scores. And last night he did it, and right in the nick of time. I would be very curious if there has been another game that saved a team from another goal that saved a team from elimination that close to the end of
No,
the game.
it hasn't.
Yeah, I would think it hasn't
No, it
because
hasn't.
1.6.
That's
Yeah,
what the
okay.
Sportsnet broadcast said.
Okay, got it. 1.6 seconds is absurd.
That was the last chance.
That's it. Well, the last chance of the season for the Winnipeg Jets, and they pulled it off. And then in double overtime, they win. The videos, I've been on TikTok here and there today. Every single video from inside the MTS Center, the Canada Life Center. No, what is it? The MTS Center still?
Yeah. No, it's Canada Life. I'm pretty sure.
Every single video, I'm saving them because pandemonium doesn't even begin to describe what the environment seemed to be like in that arena. The whiteout, the vibes in Winnipeg, immaculate. The street situation all the way out to the horizon. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, I love how the St. Louis Blues played in this series. I thought they Had this one last night. I was out last night in the city of Toronto. I also walked by John Tory of all people, which was really weird. But I was in the city and I
Former mayor.
missed the yeah, exactly. Former mayor of Toronto and former premier candidate in Ontario. But regardless, that's not what we're here to talk about. The St. Louis Blues. I mean, I missed the first, I think, period and a half of the game, and then went out for dinner in the city after I left what I was doing and caught a bit of it, and then got home literally as that goal was scored. Like flipped the game back on, and the puck went in, and I went, "Okay, what the hell? What did I just miss?" And
A
then watched
lot.
both overtimes, and God, I mean, I don't know. That game could have gone either way. Clearly, obviously,
Yep.
the St. Louis Blues, though. I mean, I don't. What a crushing loss! Like I don't even know where to start, honestly. Like
They just played well, but
they did.
for a lot of it, or for the early part of the game, and then the Winnipeg Jets took over, and it was worrying because like 3 minutes left. I think it was 3:01 left when they got the 3-2
Yeah.
goal, but like Winnipeg was just pushing the entire time, peppering them
Yep.
with shots, and like not dying. And eventually they didn't die because with 1.6
Yeah.
seconds left, they tie it up. And going into that overtime, I thought, okay, Connor Hellebuck is either going to let in the first shot of this overtime period, or he's going to save whatever shot he faces first, and they're going to win. And that's exactly what happened. But Connor
Right.
Hellebuck was shaky, and this is not something that, if I were a Jets fan, I'd be looking forward to in the next round because this question still needs to be answered. Now, granted, he stabilized, was able to make every save he needed to, but oh boy,
He was very good in overtime
but
in
that
the
first goal
overtimes.
was so bad. It was so bad.
I
and
didn't see it, so I
just
wouldn't
said it.
know.
He went swimming, Will. He went swimming on a play. He just kind of
Oh, yes, I think I did see it after the fact. Yeah, I'm just watching it now. But I also did want to note that the Winnipeg Jets from the third period until the end of the game had what is this? 34 shots. Oh my goodness, that is not a great goal to give up in the first minute and a half of the game. Yeah, I think they had
brutal.
34 shots in the third overtime and second overtime, and the St. Louis Blues had 13.
Yeah,
So
like they were just
the Jets
outmatched.
full court press from the Jets.
And Josh Morrissey went out in the first period as well, so they were
Yeah,
without their 1C and their 1D.
Neil Pionk played like
42
40
minutes. 42
Like
minutes.
it's
Hayden Fleury
ridiculous.
played a
And
career high after not
yeah,
ever, like, I think he played like 26 minutes, and his career high was 25 when he was on Anaheim or something like
yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
and he looked decent.
Yeah, they did.
He
I
looked,
mean,
he looked,
everybody on. I think
he looked
everybody on
better than
Winnipeg
Logan
looked pretty
Stanley
decent.
did. That's for sure. And I mean, Logan Stanley didn't
Yeah,
play that game, but like, I'm talking holistically in the playoffs.
Dylan Sandberg looked good. Neil Pionk looked good. Nikolai Ehlers. I mean, it seemed like he was hurt. I think here and I don't know. I don't know. I
Remember,
might
he
be
came.
wrong,
No, no,
but
no. Remember, he came back from injury and
yes,
rejoined this team in Game 6.
he did. Yeah, but I mean, even last night you noticed him a little bit here and there, but I still thought he played incredibly
Yes,
well. I love Nikolai Ehlers. That's no surprise. So I might be a little biased, but
I
enormous
love him
game from
more.
him. Kyle Connor assists on both the tying goal and the winning goal. I thought Kyle Connor on that, or no, it wasn't Kyle Connor. It was the Nikolai Ehlers pass to Kyle Connor that then led to Cole Perfetti putting it
Yep.
in. That pass from Ehlers, like to spot Connor on that far wide of the net, and hitting him with that crisp of a pass with
That little
3 seconds
time
left in the
left.
game
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And you want to talk about clutch. Yeah, Cole Perfetti with that tip is incredible. And Kyle Connor with that pass to him, shot pass, I guess you could call it, incredible. But Nikolai Ehlers throwing that puck out wide so it can come right back inside, open up the defense a little bit. Unreal. Just unbelievable stuff.
His
I
contract
mean,
price might be going up. We'll see.
maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little
Maybe a
bit. We'll
tiny
see where the
bump.
rest of the
Tiny
playoff
bump.
goes. Yeah, I mean, so the Jets are moving on. They're off to play the Dallas Stars, another team that pulled it off. Mikko Rantanen dragging that team
My
into the
Stanley
second
Cup
round.
bracket's ruined.
Oh, my
Miko,
bracket
you
is
killed
so
me. You
wrecked.
killed me,
It is
Miko.
done. I See, this is why I don't gamble, man, because I'm wrong all the time, literally all the time about these kinds of things. And that's the thing about the NHL playoffs. It
Stanley
is
Cup playoffs.
whatever, Stanley Cup playoffs, the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup. That is the thing. It is unpredictable. It's nonsense. It makes no sense. Crazy things happen, and a team wins at the end of it, right? That's just how it goes. And yeah, I mean, it is just an unbelievable couple of games here between Winnipeg and Dallas. I don't know if you want to talk a bit about that Dallas game. I mean, everybody's talking about Mikko Rantanen, and rightfully so.
I think we can get into it a little bit more when we start doing the post-mortem, just like a tiny
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. But
I
yeah, my
think
bracket is so wrecked.
I think on the Winnipeg side of things, I'm just very happy for Cole Perfetti because yes,
What a
he gets
game.
some opportunities to play as a result of Mark Scheifele not being in the lineup.
Yeah,
And this guy's really good. He's a really solid player that just hasn't got to show what he's capable of because he's
yeah.
behind Mark Scheifele.
And he's on the Jets. Like they've got a lot of guys
Good
who can play.
forwards.
A
Great
lot of good forwards. Yep, yep. They've just amassed them over the years. Kevin Cheveldayoff, I think, is the longest tenured GM in the NHL right now,
He's
and
been
he's been there
there
since
literally
2011.
literally
Yeah,
since
since
Jets
day
2.0
one.
started.
Yep,
Yep, day 1 Jets 2.0.
which is wild,
Awesome.
just wild. So
Yes, and we were asked about best GMs.
yeah,
He's up there because
yep,
to sustain what they've done in Winnipeg and keep marquee players the way they have in a market like that,
yeah,
it's huge.
yeah. I do have to send a condolence to Rob in the chat,
Yep.
who's a Blues fan.
Our
I'm
condolences,
sorry.
Rob.
I
You were
don't even. I
robbed.
mean, look, I was there in Maple Leaf Square for the Leafs losing Game 7 to the Boston Bruins in 2013. That was pain. But last night,
We bought a television for that game.
that is
2013.
last night is just something different. Like you are in their barn, the game is almost over, and on the last chance, it's over,
Yeah,
and
you're
it
up
goes to
2 with 3
overtime.
minutes left,
Yeah,
essentially.
and it just falls away from you. And I honestly can't look at the Blues and go, well, it's because of this or this, right? Like I look at the Blues top down. I mean, we can get into their like post mortem, we're calling it, but I don't look at the Blues as like a team where it's like, ah, shucks, now they're cooked.
Yep.
This was a team that I thought played a lot better than people were expecting. They've been on a real hot streak for the last few months. And I think it's not that hard to see why when you watch how they played last night, especially with their
And
forwards, like
shout
the
out to Jim
young.
Montgomery. Excellent coach.
Yep. I mean,
Just an
that's the thing.
excellent
Both of
coach.
these teams were clearly very well structured and well coached. Winnipeg might have had the horses, but I mean, St. Louis was not that far behind. Bushnevich, I thought, played really
Yep.
well. Robert Thomas is the guy now.
He
He
is the
just
guy in
was
St.
everywhere.
Louis.
Jordan Kyrou was excellent.
Love his speed, what he brings
And
in
they didn't
terms
even
of
have
rush
Dylan Holloway.
offense.
Yeah,
Yep.
they didn't even have, like Nathan Walker played really well last night
Cam
too.
Fowler had like 9
Cam
points.
Fowler, yeah, like they were getting performances out of everybody. Philip Broberg was pretty good. Um, Radek Faxa, I've always been a fan of Radek Faxa, just as a solid NHL guy. Alexei Toropchenko protected the puck in some key moments. Like everybody kind of showed up and did their thing. Jordan Binnington with, I would argue, like a heroic losing performance
He was
there. Like
excellent.
34 shots in 3 periods is not easy, especially if you've already played 2 periods of a game 7 and allowing, you allowed 3 goals on those shots, but that's still a 900 save percentage.
He was
in
unquestionably the better goalie in this series and in this game.
Yes, no doubt. And yeah, like I mean, I look at the St. Louis Blues, and the only guy they have that is not coming back next year that I would worry about a little bit is Faxa. Everyone else is signed; they're coming back. Um, I mean, I don't know. You just reload, I guess, because I think if you're the Blues, the young kids can play. I thought Snuggerud was pretty good. Bolduc can chip in. Jake Neighbors has his job, and he does it pretty well.
And they have some
Alex
decent
Texier,
guys too in the pool as well. Like we're
he's
Otto Stenberg fans.
Yeah, Otto Stenberg is floating around. Dalibor Dvorsky probably gets a
Simon
look next
Robertson,
year.
maybe.
I'm a big Simon Robertson fan, and he's been up and down this season, but almost made. I mean, he was pretty good in preseason from what I saw, but like Adam Juracek, Theo Lindstein coming up at some point. They've got guys. Joel Hofer in net, he's had a pretty good go. At the end of the day, if I'm St. Louis, last night sucked big time, but I don't see any reason to look at this team and go, well, we need to. I mean, obviously, I think you want your defense group to be a little younger. They've got a lot of veterans back there, but
Yes.
I don't think you're going to trade any of these guys, right? Like, I don't think you're going to move any of them. So I imagine it's going to be this again, and we'll see how that goes. But when you've got, when Binnington is on and he's in net for you, he can do a lot for you. And I think you look at what's up front for St. Louis. I don't really have much to say, really. Like, they reload, maybe add a body, add some competition for guys down the lineup to maybe, beat out for jobs, and come back and try again next year. Because I don't see any reason to go, this team needs to be retooled or rethought or anything, because they've kind of already done that with the last couple of seasons. And the guys they've added they all kind of chipped in a way.
Yeah.
And that's very, very good.
It does just feel like the blue line could use a bit of a
refresh.
Adjustment. Yeah. Like, also Torrey Krug is going to come back, and he's not very good anymore. He's just not. Nick Leddy's not very, not my favorite kind of defenseman.
Just get the puck to the young forwards. That's their job. Just get the puck out of your end.
I know Colton Parayko played on Team Canada, but I wasn't a huge fan of him in that tournament at all.
Yeah.
But hey, if Cam Fowler's got this magic, man,
dude,
who knows?
I don't know what got into him, but one more year with Cam Fowler. And next year,
I think they're going to be in a bit of a battle potentially to still make the playoffs.
Potentially, yeah.
But they have the benefit of good goaltending and good coaching on their side.
And the way and they have guys that will be a year older, right? Guys like Bolduc and Snuggerud and
too,
Yep, Thomas is only 25. Dylan Holloway will be back.
He had a fantastic year, and they were without him for this entire series too. So that could have swung.
Who knows?
That could have swung everything.
Yeah. So I don't know what else to pick. I don't even know what to pick on with St. Louis other than keep the ship going the way it's going. And, they have 3 draft picks this year, but who cares, because they've kind of done their draft picks and they've done their drafting.
But still, go ahead, use those picks potentially, and you can maybe move them to bring in somebody or just stock up the cupboard even further. And maybe you package some guy down the line as well. In a deal, but ultimately they're in a good place. And if I'm a Blues fan, I would feel very good overall about where the season was, because I came into this year thinking that the Blues might bottom out even, and they've well exceeded my expectations this year in terms of being able to hold it down. Yeah,
I agree fully. I thought they would be okay in this series against Winnipeg, but I did not think it was going to be like that. And I didn't think it was going to be as impressive, for me at least, as it was.
But also,
I thought they just went on a bit
as impressive as we're making it out to be, or was it Connor Hellebuck just kind of pooping his pants a bit? Because
I don't know. I did not expect what I saw out of guys like Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. And
I'm always reminded every time I watch the Blues that I don't put enough stock in those guys, but I'm not gonna forget this time. Not gonna forget.
No, they are guys now. Those are guys those are horses on that team. And it took a while to get here, but I think that was them going, no.
These
you
are
look
our
at
guys,
the Jets. You look at the Jets and you see those guys up there, those Ehlers, Connor, those guys, but we're not that far behind. We're pushing those guys around, and they almost pulled it off. And so I don't know, it sucks, but that's sports. Someone's got to lose, and it sucks. Everybody loses but one team. And unfortunately for the Blues, it was in miraculous fashion
and heartbreaking fashion.
And heartbreaking.
I think they only have about what projected is about $6 million in cap space.
Right
now, you might be able to move stuff around, but I would just kind of sit tight. And
you can do that. They have that option, right? It's possible.
Yeah, just sit tight, bring in your young guys, and just see where things go. And it's okay to, even if you don't make it next year, I feel like there's a solid group in place that the year after that can be a real big shift in terms of them like competing and maybe going out and getting some good free agents. But we'll have to see where they are around trade deadline time next year.
Yeah. Well, should we go on to the other miraculous series of the day? Colorado, Dallas, because my bracket is dead, as I mentioned earlier. That one, you want to talk about a game slipping through their fingers. 4 goals in the third period. What was it? Like 3 goals in the last 7 minutes of the game.
Dude, Mikko Rantanen had a third period hat trick. That was ridiculous.
That is like, I mean, look, I get that people are rightfully, I guess, looking at the Colorado Avalanche and going, "How embarrassing is that?" And
what were they gonna do?
Well, exactly. But I mean, like, it is a pretty incredible story that the superstar they traded got them through the team he used to play for with a hat trick in 1 period. That is pretty poetic. But
they
I mean, I don't know.
that team though, and they made it really good. And they brought back Gabe Landeskog, and he looked good. He looked remarkably good for a guy who's missed 3 years.
Yeah. Mackenzie Blackwood, I don't even really like. He was very good during the regular season. He was
good at the start of the series, and then kind of floundered towards the end. I think they found a spot with him, and I was listening to 32 Thoughts this morning, where there was a play that they were looking for with his stick and glove, like in terms, like there was a spot where he would use his. I'm not fully remembering this, but there was a specific shot location that the Dallas Stars are really taking advantage of in this series towards the end. And I think it's because he liked to have his stick to cover his 5-hole when they went glove side. So there's something there that I remember hearing from this morning that might have been taken advantage of. But I can't remember it fully, so my apologies.
It's just, I mean, it was, I honestly don't, I watched this game. I honestly don't have a ton to say other than the obvious, which is that third period, again, this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, you cannot take the foot off the gas pedal. Penalties in the Stanley Cup playoffs can sink your season. And 2 power play goals put Dallas up in the span of 3 minutes. And then they got their empty netter at the end of the game, and that was it, right? Like, am I looking at this and going, wow, what a bunch of morons Colorado is for trading the guy that eliminated them? No. And I think there's a lot of people doing that. And I think that's a little bit like, hyperbolic and convenient.
They fixed so much of their roster construction.
They had such a good roster.
They were a very top heavy team when they had Mikko. And that's okay. And I was a little critical of them trading him in the first place. But then they added Brock Nelson. They added Charlie Coyle.
Yeah.
They added Martin Necas. It's like they didn't bring in bums or bozos. They brought in some really strong players.
God forbid they bring in bums and bozos. Oh boy.
Brian Lindgren.
Those two are terrible.
But that might have been the bum and bozo they brought in. But hey, you know what? For the most part, up front, they did a good job. So
yeah, I mean, it's another team where I look up and down this roster based on what they looked like in the, like that goal going in off of Sam Girard's foot, the guy who played the second least of all their defensemen.
That's
just sucks. That's just brutal. Tough. But that's the playoffs. Like, that's how this goes, right? Greasy stuff often is what works.
The David Perron shot off the back of the head of Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah. Give it a go. You never know.
Yep.
But like I look at the Blackhawks. I look at the Avalanche, and for next season, they do have like a certain level of flexibility, I guess, with regards to like they're losing $5.5 million in Drouin and Brock Nelson off of the payroll for next year. Ryan Lindgren is a free agent. I don't know if they're going to keep him. I don't know. I imagine Eric Johnson is gone, ? 37 years old. Maybe they bring him. They do. Maybe they love him and they bring him back. Who knows? I mean, if they do, whatever. It's probably $1 million contract, right? Like, it's probably nothing. So it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, I mean, their core is still there. McKinnon, if Landeskog plays next season, he'll be there, obviously.
He looked great.
Necas, Nichushkin, Charlie Coyle is still under contract. Lehkonen, I love Arturi Lehkonen and will watch him every single day. If I get the chance, Ross Colton is still coming back. Miles Wood. They've got a lot of good players floating around, and I think that they can make dollars go pretty far if they play their cards right this offseason. Especially if you can add another defenseman. I mean, Josh Manson, I thought played pretty well in the series when I caught him. According to Puckpedia, he's on LTIR. But regardless, I don't know. Like moving forward for them, I mean, Mackenzie Blackwood, he's starting a new contract, so that's kind of your guy, whether you want it or not.
I think you do, though. He had an outstanding regular season, and
He did.
I like him in net for this group.
Yeah, like I don't know if I see this so much as like a failure from the Colorado Avalanche, because I look at the moves that they've made, and I mean, trading Mikko Rantanen was a risk, right?
But they didn't think they were trading him to their division rival.
Right. And the same thing could be said about Carolina. Acquiring him was a risk, and it blew up in their face too, kind of. And like if Carolina had kept him and lost in the first round and then he walks, is that a failure on Carolina's part? Like, I don't know so much about that, but
yeah, he just wasn't going to re-sign there, and he told him that. So.
Yes. And I mean, look, and we'll see what happens with him in Dallas.
No, he's re-signed. He's good.
Oh, right, he is. Yes, he extended. Right,
he extended
right.
for $12 million.
Yeah,
like I think it's a lower cap it because of the state tax that they're in.
Yeah.
So Dallas was just a great situation for him. It sucks for Colorado, but they'll come back. They'll be excellent, and they'll be challenging for the Stanley Cup next year. And I really felt like of all the teams in the Western Conference, these are the two best teams.
Yeah.
These are the two best teams, and they faced each other in the first round, so I don't feel like you can be that critical of Colorado. You can't. There is, at some level, you can say, yes, you should have bet on talent in Mikko Rantanen, but the way they
restructured... just looks pretty good there,
though. The way they restructured their team is pretty masterful, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No complaints on my end there.
No. Well, I mean, and I mean, they've given themselves the benefit of the doubt quite a bit.
It is a good point, though, that losing Cal Ritchie for 26 games of Brock Nelson is rough, but if you bring back Brock Nelson, then... which they should absolutely do. He fits their system. He fits their style really quite nicely.
The other thing I would say, though, about that is you're not interested in the future of Cal Ritchie if you are the Colorado Avalanche and you're looking to win the Stanley Cup. Like, if it means bringing in a seasoned, long-term NHL veteran player who is still pretty good in Brock Nelson.
Yeah, it's a little different when it's an actual good player as opposed to, like, a Scott Lawton for a first-round pick.
Callum Ritchie did not stick in the NHL this year. Callum Ritchie is not an NHL player yet, and I get it. Like, he's scoring a lot. He's obviously a very good junior player, but that's not the goal, right? They're looking at this going... Brock Nelson would be much more of an asset in the playoffs than Cal Ritchie would, and that's what we're interested in.
Just re-sign him. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, like what good is having Cal Ritchie if there's an alternate universe where when you land Brock Nelson and he's your third line center in the NHL and you win the Stanley Cup? Like, if you don't win the Stanley Cup and you could have had Brock Nelson, are you sitting there going like, if only, is Cal Ritchie really what holds us back from that potential timeline? Unfortunately, it didn't work out in any of those cases. But that's the risk you have to take, at the trade deadline, right? Like, I personally am always not super pro trade deadline moves for these types of players, but I like Brock Nelson. I like Brock Nelson. And I think the Colorado Avalanche are also in a bit of a different scenario where Nathan McKinnon is going to be 30, right? Like, the clock is ticking and they've won one cup. They've threatened for more, but I think they think there's plenty more in the tank, but they can't wait forever.
And Colorado also has like close to $9 million in cap space.
Yep.
I just put a lot of that money towards Brock Nelson on a short-term deal. Is what I would do. And then try and figure out the defenseman with some of the more undervalued guys in the league to try and round out the bottom pair and whatever else. Because they still have the best defensive pair in the entire league, and it's not close with Makar Taves. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unless Miro Heiskanen and Thomas Harley decide to play together, In which case, then you've got a bit.
I mean,
of
those
a
two.
taste, but
Yeah.
they didn't play together in this series because there was no Miro. So I feel like Dallas has a really good chance at winning the cup this year for sure.
Thomas Harley looking like Thomas Harley, just continues to chug, just chug a choo choo, just keeps going onto the second round for Dallas. Unreal. LA Kings get eliminated by the Edmonton Oilers. We kind of got to bang through this before the lottery in half an hour.
So we'll just go into the post-mortem.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a team where you kind of sit back. I mean, Rob Blake is gone.
Yep.
A team where you sit back and you kind of go, that one got away from them real fast. Like, real fast. I mean, Calvin Pickard should not be the impetus for you to lose that series, but Connor McDavid, about to lose, definitely is the impetus for Edmonton to win that series. And I don't know what LA could have done to stop them. It was those last couple of games were all Edmonton.
I think, to be fair, we didn't give the Edmonton forward group enough credit because they are a very deep group, but I was really shaky on their defense.
Yes.
And LA just kind of stopped taking it to, and the goaltending. And LA just kind of stopped taking it to them in the way that they did. And it's kind of funny, in a full circle way, they won 4 straight games. So if you think about it, from the way these series have gone, in the last 4 years, the Oilers won 4-3, 4-2, 4-1. They went down 2-0, but then won 4 straight. So they basically, it's kind of like a sweep, but not really at some level.
Yep. And they're putting Skinner back in game 1.
Wait, what?
I think they are. Didn't they say that? I think they announced that Skinner's going to be their game 1 starter for round 2.
Okay. Vegas in 4.
Yeah, but Oilers reveal game 1 starter versus Golden Knights. Wait. Oh, never mind.
U equals idiot.
Someone. Yeah, Pickard's in the starting net for practice.
Which makes sense.
Speculation arose yesterday that Skinner might be game 1.
Yeah, doofus. Learn how to read.
Practice takes. You know, when you go to a hockey practice, having takes out of a hockey practice is always, especially during the playoffs, always unreliable. Regardless, LA Kings.
Let's take a look at the Kings.
So, honestly, like, this is a team where I kind of don't know what to do or say or think, because they've got some great players, you know, Kevin Fiala. I mean, Quinton Byfield, who scored a goal in that last game. He had 3 goals, I think, in that series. You know, he's extremely young. Adrian Kempe is still kind of in his prime at 28.
He's excellent.
But I mean, like, I look at the youth guys, the young guys on this team that aren't named Quinton Byfield, and I don't see the same amount of energy and potential there that I did in St. Louis.
So how do you feel about a guy like Brandt Clark? Let's just get this out of the way.
I mean, I like Brandt Clark. I can't say I noticed him a tremendous amount in the playoffs, but he is a player, like, I've always been a little bit cooler on him than a lot of people, because, like, we seem to, like, live in this world in the NHL where guys like him should be seen through a bit of a more higher bar lens, but for some reason he's not often, like, seen that way. At least he wasn't when he was 17. And I remember watching him, and it's like, okay, this is an offensive, really skilled defenseman who the defensive side of the game is a real work in progress. Granted, he was playing in the Slovak top division, which is not a joke. But I mean, I think that's kind of the trend with him, is that if he's like I mean, he's going to be a top 4 guy. Like, my thing with him was always like a good second pair guy who can run a power play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought that was perfectly reasonable for him, and I think he could get there. I look at this team and I go, what if they're up against Edmonton again next year? You know, because that's very possible.
Ekholm.
And they have Matthias Ekholm. Like, what can they do to change their fortune, right? Because Darcy Kemper is going to be 36.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have another option in net that could take a job from him, really. Carter George will be 19, but that's not going to happen.
No, not immediately.
Not immediately. Like,
they have Joel Edmondson locked up for 3 more years at nearly $4 million.
Right.
Vladislav Gavrikov is coming off the books, and that's about $6 million off.
And he's been good for them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a guy I don't want to lose.
On forward, Andrei Kuzmenko's contract's done.
Drew Doughty for 11 million for 2 more years.
which is brutal.
Like
Like, it's
that's a
not.
boat anchor. Like he's not bad, but he's also not
He's not an 11
$11
million
million.
player by any means.
You know, Philip Deneau is fine.
Noted,
I would say he's
noted what, like, 9 draft pick trade guy.
yeah.
Tanner Jeannot comes
Tanner
off
Jeannot.
the book.
Yeah.
And does he get re-signed? Probably
I don't think
not.
so. Andre Kuzmenko was very good for them in the playoffs, I thought, but he's a UFA. Like
You're kind of struggling to hold this whole group together, even with, because I feel like Andre Kuzmenko is a huge part of this team.
Well, he was in the playoffs.
Success.
You get one more year with Anze Kopitar at $7 million, then he'll be 38 years old. Like this is a team that does need to start thinking about the clock is kind of ticking for a lot of these guys,
but not full on rebuild. I think
no,
retooling a little bit,
right? Sure, but like, what do they have in the draft? Right, like they have a first, a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 2 sevenths, and all of their picks next year. I mean, they've drafted a lot of young guys over the years.
Liam Greentree, to be fair.
Yeah, Liam Greentree's floating around.
But does he come up next year?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think like any of the guys that are on there, like any of their prospects are going to be ready for next year.
Well, that there's that, but also like who would have thought Sam Hellenius would be in the lineup, and
he's fine.
You know, who's the other one? Alex Laferriere. They found a job for him. They've got guys that are playing that they could probably find roles for, but who knows what that's going to look like. I look at their future and I go, I don't really know who's going to do what, where in this lineup. But I think that of all of the teams that have been eliminated, the LA Kings are kind of the ones that are like on that balancing edge of like, you know, nervously trying to fit, because you lose to the same team over and over and over and over again. And this one, I felt like they had their best shot out of all of them.
Absolutely.
And it just fell apart. And I don't know where you go from here, honestly. Like the free agent class this year, I guess you could open your wallets and see if a big name wants to come to town.
A lot of those free agent, like two of the decent named free agents are guys that were on their team that I feel like they should be trying to re-sign.
Yeah.
So do you really have budget to go out and do anything? Especially when you, like, why would you sign Joel Edmondson to 4 years by basically $4 million?
Well,
like, that's
know the answer to that.
But it's just dumb. It's just stupid.
Yeah, but you know the answer because he is seen as a playoff guy. He's a big physical playoff guy, right? And it's under $4 million, right? Like at this point in this day and age, $4 million for a player
but they don't have money. They don't have money.
No, I don't. I know. You can only spend $4 million so many times before you have no more millions of dollars, of course. And that's where I'm at, right? Like I don't know what you do, right? Like if you're spending, like you look at the guys they've handed contracts to, right? Like Philip Deneau at 5.5, sure, fair enough, right? Trevor Moore, 4.2. I like Trevor Moore. I guess that's not a ton, you know, it's fine.
I like him.
Joel Edmondson, 3.8. But
this is a very this is an above average team, and that's kind of what it caps out as.
And that's like $11 million plus another 3.5 on, like you've got like $15 million tied up in Warren Fogle, Trevor Moore, Philip Deneau, and Joel Edmondson. Like that's okay, I suppose, but you gotta think that $14 million could be maybe a little bit more efficiently spent, I suppose. I don't know though. And I guess the thing for me is if I'm the LA Kings coming out of this, and this is maybe why Rob Blake isn't coming back, but like you come out of this season and you've lost again to Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, and you have to ask the question, next season, when we come back, how are we going to be better? How are we going to win that series? Because we had it, and then Connor McDavid went, we are not going to lose, and he won. How do we prevent that from happening again? And I honestly don't know the answer to that question if I'm LA. I do not know. Unless Quentin Byfield learns how to rip Connor McDavid's spinal column out of his back
Hey, he's
Like,
only 22. There's a lot.
and he's
to
only
learn.
22, right? And he's been very good in the playoffs. I love Quinton Byfield to death.
Excellent
But like,
player.
if that is your thought in terms of a matchup moving forward of Byfield, study this guy and how he plays and figure out a way. We need to figure out a way to counter him, right? Because
There is
he's
no
big enough
countering
and he's
Connor
fast
McDavid.
enough to at least try. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't think free agents are going to do it. Maybe you can trade some young players and fill your roster out here and there. But like, is it going to overcome the Oilers? I don't know.
No.
But you look at the Oilers defense and their goaltending, it makes you think you have
gotta
a
think
shot.
that they improve. You gotta think that
Yeah,
they
exactly.
improve at
Yeah.
that next year. Like that's not
Exactly.
something that's there's an easy fix, not a fully easy fix, but there is easy ways to make efforts to fix that within the next year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't
there's
know.
options, and it's like what you say, Will, about putting development in perspective for other prospects. Oh, you just wait, he'll get better. But so will everybody else, or at least they'll try
everybody
to.
else. Yep. Yeah, like do you spend money and bring on a Nikolai Ehlers? Do you spend money and see what Brock Nelson will do? Like, but like you don't want to lock up a guy who's in his 30s for 5, 6, 7 years at like $9 million, right? Like these guys are gonna want to get paid. All of these free agents, because their agents know the cap is absolutely going up a lot. So they are
booming.
going to either want, if you want them cheap, maybe you get some short-term deals, but I don't think
Or
they're going to want that.
long-term deals with like guaranteed money, but even then,
But if it's long-term, it's going to be a lot of money.
yep.
Because they're thinking that if we sign for what is, let's say, 10% of the cap this season for next season, that's going to quickly become 6, and then that quickly becomes 5, and in 3 years you've got a great deal in your hands. So what are we doing here, right? So I don't know. I mean, someone mentions Brock Besser in the chat. I mean, maybe that helps, but I don't think that's really what they need.
That's not what they need at all. Not what they need at all. They got a lot of really good wingers.
Like maybe you can snag a Matt Grillchick and he can play decent defensive hockey for them. I don't know, but like I'm looking at the list of free agents this summer, and it's like
they don't have money. They don't have money to really.
They don't have money.
Spend. Like they're just
Jack Roslovic.
I feel like for them, they might take a step back before they can take a step forward. But that's
maybe.
okay.
Honestly, maybe.
That's okay.
I don't know.
That's honestly okay.
Yeah, maybe. I guess we'll find out, because
that's kind of where I feel.
With the Kings, it's a tough. Whoever takes over as GM there, that's a tough gig.
All right then, Minnesota Wild.
So yeah, Minnesota, and we'll bang through these last two. Minnesota losing to Vegas, another heartbreaker, big sad. They did better than I thought they would, but it was just not meant to be. Yeah, it's too bad.
I guess Kaprizov's not the best 97.
I mean, on the bright side, a lot of Minnesota's good players are still well within their good years. You know, Faber, Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek.
There's a real bright side, though.
Rossi. What?
You know how much money they're going to have this offseason?
A lot.
Almost 21 million. You know how much money they have the next?
A lot more.
49. But
yeah,
a lot of that money is going to be still allocated here, so it'll be another 20 million or another 21 million, or no, sorry, it'll be like 30 million the next year.
The big question, by the way, we're getting a lot of questions about who I think is going to win the lottery.
We should have answered that off the top.
I mean, let's see. Who do I think is going to win? I mean, can I roll a weirdly sized dice with all different sides on it? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I mean, I think it would be nice to see Seattle win. That would be fun. Seattle, the expansion team with the first overall pick again. Sure, they go crack and go. They've been at the bottom of the standings almost every year, but that's okay.
Here's my pick for who I want to see win. Give me the Nashville Predators, please.
Yeah, the Predators would be fun.
Give me the Nashville Predators.
Preds would be fun.
Because they'll either
San Jose and Chicago's had their fun.
They'll either have another awesome defenseman to mold into something excellent, or they'll have the 1C they never had.
Yep. So Nashville or Seattle, I'd say someone like that.
That's what we want.
But anyway,
Also,
Minnesota. So
we want your favorite team because we love all of you. Please
sure,
like
yeah,
and please subscribe.
yeah, whoever you love
Whoever
the most.
you want. Whoever
All
you
your
want.
dreams, whoever, yeah, all your dreams can come true. The big question mark for me with Minnesota is Marco Rossi and what the heck is going to happen there, because
Yep.
I don't know. I mean,
They
he was
don't
their
seem
he
to
was on
like
their
him,
fourth
which is
line.
dumb.
He was on their fourth line in the playoffs. Like, yeah, he had a few points, but he found himself on the fourth line, and he's an RFA. So if I'm Bill Guerin, I'm looking at his agent going, we were putting you on the fourth line because you couldn't hang in the top 6 in the playoffs. We don't care how good you are in the regular season. If you're not going to be a playoff performer for us, then we're not going to pay you $9 million a year. We're not going to. I know
points?
he did. I'm saying, but logistically, fourth line, you don't want to give a guy who's playing on the fourth line in your playoffs more money than Brock Faber or a $7 million deal, right? Faber got 8.5.
Okay, this is how the LA Kings fix themselves. They go out and get Marco Rossi. Easy done.
Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, if Marco Rossi's on the block, then I feel like you kind of have to go for it. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to find a way to make a deal there.
Yeah, and LA doesn't have any players that are like below 6 feet.
That's true, yeah.
So they're not doing that.
They've got Jared Woolley. Jared Woolley's a big boy, and he can throw fists, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. For Minnesota, I mean, I think they've got some good names on the way. David Jiricek hopefully becomes part of this team pretty soon.
They got money to spend this
year. They got money to spend. Liam Ogren will come back a year older and hopefully better. Riley Height will be in the AHL next season.
Because
who knows what happens with him?
This is the last year of massive pay to Parise and Suter. Like, it goes from $7.3 million, essentially $7.4 million, to $833,000.
Yeah. I don't know though. I don't know. Like, where would you spend their money though? Because I look at their defense group, and it's going to be Faber 8.5, Spurgeon 7.5, Brodin 6, Middleton 4 1/3, and Bogosian at 1 1/4.
A little bit everywhere.
And Steve Bouillon. Yeah, I mean, you could use another forward. You could use another defenseman.
There's a perfectly good Nick Ehlers potentially that might be out there for the Minnesota Wild.
Nick Ehlers in Minnesota would be pretty gross.
It would be. It would be very gross. Or they bring home Brock Nelson. For a little bit, at least.
Maybe. Yeah. They could do that.
He's an older player, but he's from Minnesota.
I don't think they care. I think they're thinking we want to win, and if he helps us win, we're going to do it.
So old, funny enough, and young at the same time. Like,
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's bizarre. They're all over the place. Like, I mean, I don't even know what to think about Minnesota. I'm not worried about them.
I feel like they have a lot of wiggle room to do something really great, but do I trust them to do it? I'm not sure.
Right, exactly. I just don't know. But I feel like this is a team that could have a few surprises up their sleeve this summer with how much money they have to play with.
Sam Bennett inbound, baby. Sam Bennett inbound.
Oh boy, honestly, I mean that seems more like Bill Guerin than
I could see
Nikolai Ehlers.
I could see Sam Bennett to the Minnesota Wild.
Like,
oh look,
Gavrikov.
Oh look, we have $14 million, we have $15 million that's coming off the books. Let's spend 10 of that a year on Sam Bennett. So
maybe
it won't
I don't know
be that much, but it'll be like 8.5.
It'll be pricey. Sam Bennett. Oh man, I don't know. But if I'm Minnesota, see what you can get in free agency. Try to add some couple of guys with some good paychecks and reload and come right back. I mean, you won't have Fleury next year, so you got to hope Philip Gustafsson can do it.
He's been good. And you have Jesper
you really got to hope.
So it's okay.
Well, he had a bad year, so you got to hope. I mean, he's $2.2 million next year, so I think they're thinking he's in the NHL.
Wallstedt, man. Like,
so
one bad year
I have faith.
As a young goalie.
I have faith.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, I think, the plan, and we'll see where that goes. But they've got good options. They've got some toys to play with, you know. They got some good young players. They got some money. I think it's gonna be a very important summer though for Minnesota of like what they do. Do they trade Marco Rossi, right? If they sign him, what is it for, right? Because if it's they offered him 5x5. Someone mentioned 5x5 was rejected by him, probably rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And are they going to commit like a $7 million deal to him? I don't know.
Well,
And
maybe
if
if
they
he
don't,
grew 2 more inches, they'd pay him $2 more
maybe.
million.
Maybe. But I mean, yeah, they've got young players on the way, which is fine. But in the meantime, I think I don't think any of these young players are like, oh no, what is it? Matt Zuccarello is like falling off and too old, but this guy will take his job in the NHL. I don't know how many young guys are like at that point in their career yet, but we'll see. You never know a year later.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. The Minnesota Wild.
You want to just move on because I feel like
Yeah,
we've gotten to the point where
it depends on how they spend their money.
we feel
I guess
positive,
is
but
Yeah.
also unsure.
Yeah, and we need to move. We got 10 minutes left until the lottery
Yeah,
here.
we have
and,
two things to go over before then.
Do we? Isn't it just Ottawa?
Yeah, but we got to talk about my boys. And how they're gonna get this? Unfortunately, how they're gonna get?
Oh, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right, tonight.
We'll do it quickly. But
yeah, AJ all of a sudden is the cynic.
I'm not
He's
cynical.
All of a sudden,
it's the Florida Panthers, okay? And
you just said they're gonna get destroyed
because they played the style of game that literally counters what the Leafs do, okay? But before we get there, let's go to the Ottawa Senators, okay?
I mean, to me, the Senators are pretty simple. You played with found money. You made the playoffs. You pushed the Leafs around
a little bit.
You made them nervous. You know what I mean, though.
They nervous, but like
they went to multiple overtimes
and lost 80% of the puck battles in this series.
Okay, but the Leafs, the Leafs for a couple of games there,
it was shaky.
Looked beatable.
Yeah, it was shaky. 100%.
The last game, and like that is not what you would expect out of the Ottawa Senators. Granted, I expected the Ottawa Senators to be a little better, but at the end of the day,
you mean in terms of like being like Florida agitator type?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But like, I think you can look at Tim Stützle and go, that guy can play in the playoffs. I think you look at a Brady Tkachuk and you go, that guy can play in the playoffs.
Yep.
I think you look at Drake Batherson. There was a lot of criticism towards him in that last game. I thought over the course of the whole series, though, I thought he played quite well.
Jake Sanderson looked great.
Jake Sanderson, that's a playoff guy. Thomas Chabot played well.
You know who else is a playoff guy, Will, that the Sportsnet broadcast couldn't stop glazing?
Tyler Clevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler. Hey, look, if you want to have Tyler Clevin on the team for 8 years, by all means.
He's an RFA. It's time to pay him.
He
might not be good at hockey, but he's perceived to be good at hockey.
He has his job. He gets good defensive results. But are you going to pay him $8 million? Are you going to pay him $6 million?
They're not going to pay him that much. They'll probably pay him in the 5. Like he's just not my kind of defenseman by any means.
He's just not my kind of defenseman, right? Like it's him, and I felt like if they kept it super simple, those guys, him and Nicholas Montempallo, fine. They protected the net well, but when it came time to like dealing with Toronto's forecheck, getting the puck up the ice, that's when things were a little bit scary, unless they deferred to someone else. And that's a pretty important part of the game in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, though, like if those two guys are on your bottom pair, like cool, that's whatever, fine.
Yeah, and really Greg also did decent. I think at the beginning of the series, but like I think towards the end he was kind of invisible. Like he was a presence and then he faded.
David Perron was great, and he's going to come back next year. So Claude Giroux's a UFA. I don't know what happens with him. I imagine they'll bring him back.
He probably takes a deal that's a little cheaper to stay.
I think so. Yeah.
And they have like I think nearly $18 million worth of cap space to play around with, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's 17 something, but I think it's closer to 18 if I'm not mistaken. Here, let me take a look. It's 17,569,000. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Ottawa, like, just keep trucking ahead. Maybe there's a UFA that's willing to commit, someone who's willing to come to Ottawa and, sign for a short-term deal that's a little bit on the veteran side of things, like a Claude Giroux, David Perron style player, because they are still very, very young, right? Like, Tkachuk, Cousins, Stützle, Pinto, Zetterlund.
I'm going to say his name again, but it's because he's really good. Nick Ehlers. That could be an interesting swing.
Well, who wouldn't want Nick Ehlers on their team, right? Like,
I don't know.
Who would not go, I think we're going to call it with Nick Ehlers. I don't know if I like him. Like, I don't think anybody's saying that anymore.
No. This is also a team that could bid on Sam Bennett.
Well, that's the one that I was thinking was more, like Sam Bennett style of pickup. But would that be what I would do? Probably not.
I wouldn't.
But at the end of the day,
Not for what he's going to get. Good
look,
player, but not for what he's going to get.
the Sens have their brand. I thought they kind of flirted with bringing it, but they kind of lost, like, towards the end of that series. I feel like they kind of started playing a little less like chippy and a little bit more like frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very fine line between those two things. And it just seemed like it just kind of, Toronto's been here many, many times, even though they've lost a bunch of times. And Ottawa, they had the weight of no expectations, and that's fine. I think they'll be back. I think they'll threaten for a playoff spot next year, assuming they make a couple of decent additions in the offseason of some sort of depth, like better depth forwards, and maybe these young guys take another step. Because you've got a window now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stützle's 23, Kachuk is 25. You got Dylan Cousins halfway through the season. They've got guys. And so I don't know. I think they'll be okay.
Yep. Just augment the guys your core guys and try and bring in a little bit more talent to help them out.
And I would not complain at all about whatever happens, regardless, between now and a year from now, a Battle of Ontario 2.0 between these two teams again, because
Just
you could see it.
The Leafs win, I will not.
You could see it. You could see little moments here and there where you're like, these guys, I feel like these guys could end up really not liking playing each other. I could see it. They're flirting with it. It's kind of there.
There's a rivalry.
Some of those games were insane,
there's already a rivalry. Yeah. I think the whole Ridley Grigg slap shot in the open net situation the year prior. Ottawa swept the regular season series, but it doesn't matter. I'm a Leafs fan saying the regular season doesn't matter all of a sudden.
No, it does not.
But
nope.
It does. It's just sometimes it doesn't.
It does not
make sense.
If you're a team like the Leafs, it does not matter.
All right, so let's quickly do Leafs-Panthers.
Tonight's game, Leafs-Panthers, game 1. It's the only game of the night. AJ, you already think Toronto's going to get run over.
Well, look, I don't think that they're going to get run over, but I'm not confident that they're going to win this series.
Right.
Okay? I think the Florida Panthers play a style of game that is going to counter what the Leafs do entirely, because they have a really rough time breaking the puck out of their own end from the blue line. And Florida just punishes you. They suffocate you. They come at you with relentless pressure. They try and get under your skin in a way that Ottawa was unable to do against the Leafs. Like, if the Ottawa Senators were navigating choppy waters, trying to deal with the Florida Panthers in like a sailing analogy would be if you're sailing through the eye of a hurricane, okay? That is what they are going to have to deal with in this series. And that's a tremendous amount of pressure they're going to have to face. So, yeah, I think the Panthers are probably going to win this in 6 or 7 games, but I'm leaning towards 6.
Is Brant Marchand playing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's annoying.
Yes, that's annoying. Sam Bennett's playing. That's annoying. Matthew Tkachuk's playing. That's annoying.
Oh, damn. Almost a point. Oh, he had 4 points in the first round, too.
Dude, they're a great team, and I was uncertain about them winning in the series against Tampa Bay because I didn't know what their injuries were going to be like. So that's why I picked Tampa originally in 7 games. But now that Florida's here and Brad Marchand looks sick, Matthew Tkachuk is fine, like in terms of health, and is playing absolutely outstanding. Sergei Bobrovsky's an excellent goalie. Like, it's going to be really, really difficult for the Leafs to win this series, and they're going to need to win both of the opening home games in order to really threaten to have a chance in this series, I believe.
In the Leafs' favor, I think their big boys have shown up pretty well so far.
Talent-wise, I think the Leafs outmatch them, but team-wise, the Panthers are better.
I mean, I think, honestly, this season, I am trying to be as unbiased as I can, but the difference in Austin Matthews from last year to this one is so wild. Like, I or at least over the last couple of years and the way things have shifted, because he against Ottawa, like, off the puck and physically, like, that was a side of Austin Matthews that has really begun to really come out more and more.
He's ridiculous.
And if he can keep doing that and be that top line matchup that can try to shut down a guy like Alex Barkov consistently, then I think this will be a little bit different. But I mean, hey, if I'm the Florida Panthers, yeah, I'm telling my guys to run over every single Toronto Maple Leaf as much as I possibly can. I feel like it could be pretty greasy pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is gonna be not a nice series in terms of
No,
like no pleasantries. It's just gonna be battle, 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 whack, 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 and hack.
I think there's going to be quite a bit of overtime just because Stolars has been so good most of the series, and Bobrovsky is capable of incredible things. Even though he wasn't like amazing in the first round, he didn't really need to be. But when he's called upon, he can be a nightmare to get a puck past, and the Toronto Maple Leafs know that. So yeah, I mean, I personally think that this is. I mean, I think it's going to be a coin flip, but I do think the Panthers pull it off. But I also sit
But go
there
Leafs,
going
go.
like, I also sit there too going, but the Panthers, like, they might be dirty and greasy too, but like they have played a lot of hockey over the last couple of years, and you never know, right? When one guy takes a hit the wrong way, or a couple of guys get hit the wrong way by a Simone Benoit or a Max Domi or whoever, you never know. The lottery just went on
Yep. So
on
it's
the
time to
broadcast,
move
so
on
I
to
think
that
it's
and our
time to
chat
move into the draft
questions.
lottery. Yeah, so we're gonna, if you're not aware, we will obviously answer your questions, and we're gonna get into the lottery now. I gotta
And
unmute my broadcast here.
I have the board up for first overall odds, just so
Yep.
there are no spoilers in the chat for anybody who's behind. You're
Yeah.
welcome. Please shower me with thank yous.
Yeah, you can close the chat window if you don't want spoilies. But yeah, here we go. It's the draft lottery.
So this time they're gonna actually show you the combination, I
Yes.
think. And so
Yep.
what happens is, just to explain it, like there's like I'm pretty sure it's a briefcase or whatever. Like they run a combination of balls essentially, and there's a number that corresponds to each of these teams, and then they cross check it. I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
That way
I
they're
think
not
so.
like that way they don't actually go, oh, the New York Rangers ball, the New York team.
Yeah.
Pick it.
Yeah. We shall see.
Unless I know that's how they did it in prior years. I could be wrong about this time though.
Right. I mean, I guess I could take this moment to go on a pedestal about how dumb the draft lottery is and how I would just lottery every pick.
We can just start answering chat questions because.
But yes, let's do that. I mean, first one up is who's winning the lottery.
Go
and then
Nashville, go! But
yeah,
go your
Nashville,
favorite
maybe.
team because I love you, and please subscribe and like everything that we do.
Which team antes up and picks Lakvadorj Davanayam in the top 10? I don't know,
The
but
Columbus Blue Jackets, because
the
like
Columbus
swinging.
Blue Jackets. That's true. They don't mind taking big swings. Oh, Craig Conroy looks so happy just to be there. That's fun. What a guy. Barry Trotz getting fitted for a microphone and stone faced like a Moai statue. Look at him go. What a guy. Yes, the Mika Rantanen stuff was indeed like a movie. Assuming they stay at 11, what do the Rangers do with their pick? Keep it and defer to next year, or give 11 to Pittsburgh? I personally would give the pick over to Pittsburgh.
No, you know what they'll do? They'll trade that pick to somebody else and try and get themselves out of the hole.
Yeah,
that's what's actually going to happen.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sold on this year's draft class being one where you're like possibly going to miss out on a huge name. I don't think they have to make a decision until the draft. It's probably in the trade conditions somewhere. So they can kind of wait maybe and see how things go. But I mean, 11th overall this year, like you'll probably get an okay player, but I don't know what the Rangers are going to be like next year.
They're moving up because it's rigged. Okay, that's what everybody tells me.
Yeah, true. The Rangers are going to win, and it's going to be and they're going to move up to 1.
I am joking, by the way. I do not think the NHL draft lottery is rigged.
I love draft lottery conspiracy theories.
They would not give the Edmonton Oilers that many first overall picks if it were rigged. Okay.
Yeah, let's send Connor McDavid to Edmonton.
Nah, he would have gone to Buffalo. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Big USHL draft guy, Chase. Shut up.
Whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Chase and I are boys, but he's watching the USHL draft right now, so I'm not getting into that. Who are the top prospects in this draft? Well, Lakvadorj Davanayam is one, that's for sure.
Hey, you missed Scott saying hello to us, so hello, Scott.
Oh, okay, hello, Scott. We say hi to Scott every day. Actually, that's not true. Hello,
But not
Scott.
on live stream. Okay.
That's true. Not on the live stream. If he showed up, if he didn't have other things to do with his
Yeah,
life,
if you
how
didn't have a
could he?
job.
If he didn't have a job,
I work a job and then
jobs.
come here and
Yeah.
work this job too.
Yeah, God.
You don't hear me complaining.
Hello, Scott.
Only.
Go Isles, go. Maybe they'll win the lottery. That would be fun.
Hey, they're on this first overall list of odds.
They are. Yep, it's possible. Yeah, but I mean, this season for me, like it's Schaefer and Misa tied essentially in my mind. I like Higgins, Martone, Eklund, and Potter too. Cullen Potter was phenomenal at the U18s, I thought. But I'd say Schaefer and Misa for sure. And then those other four, I'd say, are also kind of right up there too. And then there's just a bunch of solid dudes, solid hockey players who will probably do stuff. Real good analysis, I know.
Hey, my bromance, Lyndon Lakovic. Shout out.
He is there, yes.
I love him.
Do you think the Leafs can go farther this year's playoffs with a new coach than other years? I mean, I hope so for their sake, but Florida's going to be tough. Florida's going to be very tough.
If they beat the Florida Panthers, they can win the Stanley Cup. That is what I'm saying. If they can beat the Florida Panthers, they can win the Stanley Cup, but it's going to be a tremendous challenge.
Okay. No. Oh, Rayanne is here, our graphic designer. If you like our thumbnails, which we do, definitely. Yeah, check him out.
He's on Instagram. Rayanne. He's awesome.
Yeah. And
Bill
he's doing our Scouching
eh?
report editing now, which is fun. By the way,
don't use my government. Don't use a government nickname for me, okay? People don't need to know my name is actually Alfredo, okay?
Alfredo. But yeah, by the way, Scouching reports are out. You can see the first 3 now. We got another one coming tomorrow. If you're a subscriber to the site, you have access to them all now. And we're going to have 2 more coming out this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And if they're bad, it's Rayanne's fault because I didn't edit them.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but they're good. The one coming tomorrow is a good one. If the Hawks win the lottery this year, do you think they trade down to the 2nd or 3rd pick in the first round? Because I don't think we need it. I mean, trading down from 1 to 2 or 3 has not happened since like 2001. So it's very unlikely. I don't see why you would do that. I mean, if I'm Chicago,
down from 1 to 2, though, I'd do it, but I don't think any team would.
I don't do that. Yeah, no one's gonna do that because you're probably gonna ask for an arm, a leg, and a foot. So could be tricky. It usually does not happen like that.
You sneezing? What's going on?
I'm thinking about it. It's
That's what it looks like.
That's what was happening. It's what was happening, and now I just feel weird. Thoughts on Luke Misa going to Penn State? I think it's a great place to go. Because I don't think he's AHL ready yet. I don't think there's any reason to rush him there.
Put it in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The state pen.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to the state pen. That's a team that likes to play with some speed and some skill. I think it's a really good fit. So I think he's going to fit right in with the new look NCAA.
I just love that line, and I'm so glad I got to use it. The state pen.
Yeah.
Pompous ass Carlton. He's the best.
Does Braden Coots' impressive under 18 shift your perceptions about what kind of player he could be at the next level? Not really. I mean, I thought he was offensively more impressive than he appeared with Seattle this year. They just didn't have a ton of offense at all. But I do think that the under 18s going back to junior competition against some softer competition, I think makes a ton of sense. He looked real solid, I felt. And the speed and skill combination, the work rate, it's all really, really good. And yeah, I mean, for me, I already have Coots at 10, so I don't think I'm going to have him much higher by the end of the year. But I've really liked him. I think he's my kind of guy to have somewhere in the middle of your lineup, up the middle, or maybe on the wing, but probably up the middle, 3rd line center or something like that, like a Chandler Stevenson type guy. Oh, sorry, I'm going off of my broadcast. They're opening the briefcase here, so now it's my turn to avoid spoilers. Look at that briefcase with the balls in them. Look at it go.
Yeah, and it's what I said. They're putting in numbers to spit out a combination that they'll cross-check.
Yes. Yeah.
Or cross-reference too. That way it's not, again, New York Rangers ball, okay?
Yes.
The draft is not rigged, all right? All you people who come in here and complain that the NHL hates my team. No. Okay? It's just gambling, all right? It's just gambling.
Watching ping pong balls go into a tube, there's something about it that makes me laugh. I like it. I don't know why.
And did you know if the numbers 11, 12, 13, and 14 get drawn consecutively, they just redo the whole thing?
Weird.
Yep.
Weird.
At least I think so. I read that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be true. It must be true.
Yeah. I'm going to answer questions after this is over. We'll see what happens here. Oh my God. That tube is just chocked full of balls.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at all these bros in their suits just chilling.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm in my pajamas off screen.
The boys, just hanging with the boys, waiting for the balls to drop. What? That's what's happening.
Will, there's going to be like 30-second intervals, just so you know. Like, we should answer questions. They're not going to have an answer. Oh, yeah, this 7.
This is gonna take 9 years. Also, please don't spoil it for me, AJ. You're really bad at doing that.
I know I am.
AJ has live TV as an advantage. I have to
that I do not that my parents pay for. Okay.
Yes, but I've got stupid Sportsnet Plus, which has a longer time delay than if you sail the high seas and just watch it on some greasy Russian TV channel.
We don't talk about that though.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. It's not an endorsement. I pay for Sportsnet Plus because I'm a sucker. Did Martone and McQueen drop in everybody's rankings? I heard McQueen has a back problem. I mean, McQueen had a back problem, and they pulled him from the playoffs because he was not feeling too well. Injuries are a legitimate concern with McQueen, and the chatter's not super positive on him. Martone,
I love when you use that word.
Martone is a little bit more of a style of play concern. I personally am not super concerned. I just think that people are a little bit jarred maybe by what he actually does on the ice as opposed to what they expected. I think he's much more of like a finesse skill style player who isn't really like a high energy, high pace guy, but he's physical and smart and a good playmaker and has some really, really good skill. Like he's got so much to work with that I love. And if you underestimate him, then you underestimate him. Oh, 11.
Yeah, that changes the odds a lot, actually. They're showing you what the odd change is.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. That's pretty neat.
The New York Islanders are up to 6% now. So, hey, Scott, could happen.
Seattle's up to 10.
Nashville's falling down. Sad. Come on, whatever.
Yep.
Give me lucky 13 now. Come on.
Anyway,
it's 12. What does 12 mean?
AJ, spoilers.
Well, we don't know what it means.
Spoilies. I want to see the number of the ball. I need to see the ball number.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Should we bring back 1 to 8?
Yes. The New York Islanders have an 18% chance.
AJ, you're spoiling it.
That's
my
crazy.
God. Jesus. I'm gonna fire you. This is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Like during the draft, people scream when you spoil it, and you're spoiling it, and you're on the show. This is unbelievable.
Dude, look at that. Goodness. Look at that. That's ridiculous.
This could be very interesting. Yo,
I think Pittsburgh and the Islanders have the highest odds now to win this, which is so awesome.
Yep. We'll see.
Give it to the Pittsburgh.
Some stuff
Penguins.
on the Kings.
So fun. And they're going to break. Of course, they're going to break.
Okay. What do we got here?
Put me on timeout. I'm the moderator, Rayan.
Mixed feelings as an American on CHL players joining big college programs. The NCAA was a great development system for American players. Why can't Canada create their equivalent? Well, okay, here's the way I see it. The NCAA is going to become the place to go to develop as a hockey player. Like, the place. And I'll tell you, there is no shortage of places in the United States to go and play sports. So if it creates more demand for more colleges to join Division I college hockey or gives smaller schools more of an avenue to become more competitive, I'm all for it, and it's gonna. Why can't Canada create its own alternative? Because Canadian schools don't have the same kind of money. It is simply not there. The way Canadian education works is just fundamentally different from the United States, and the money is just not at all the same. It's just not. So expecting Canadian university hockey, which I think is underrated, but expecting Canadian university hockey to even come close to competing with the NCAA is impossible. I remember
I've
back in
covered
the
it.
day.
It's not. It is so far below that of the NCAA at
I
the
think
moment.
I will say the there was a time, I believe a few years ago, a while ago, I might be dating myself, but I think it was the University of British Columbia explored joining the NCAA for college sports, and they looked into it for like a day, and then they went, okay, no, you don't have the facilities, you don't have the money, you don't have the market size, you don't have the alumni, what's the word they have it for endowment, you don't have that. It's just, and once we do it with one Canadian school, we'll probably have to look at multiple Canadian schools, and we don't want to do that. So they nixed it. So to me, I think it's a huge plus for the NCAA. I think it's a huge plus for NHL teams. It's a rethinking for CHL teams. The only place that I think it really sucks for is junior A hockey in Canada, but too bad, I guess.
Will, I think
What?
Ebro actually spoiled it because he said well before, I'm spoiling this for people in the future. Pittsburgh won the #1 pick, and he said that way. I think he
An
said
hour
that,
ago.
I think he said that at like 7 o'clock.
Yep. Yep. After the U18's, opinions of Martin have improved slightly. Sounds like his floor is Gordie Howe. Yeah, I mean, hey, Gordie Howe mixed with
Gordie Orr.
Yeah, he's Bobby Orr if he were a forward. Yeah, that's funny.
Gordie Orr, yeah.
I like that. The Kings need to try and trade for David Pastrnak. I think if anybody out there thinks David Pastrnak is available, you trade for him.
I don't think he is.
But I don't think he's going anywhere. It would be nice if he did. It would be a lot of fun, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, okay, it's back. I won't. I won't. I will wait until you see the results, but I will definitely make an audible. Oh, when the result happens.
Okay. Byfield is overrated. Sure.
Disagree.
Quick, yeah. They only. Okay. San Jose winning would mean they can't win it for the next 3 years, effectively making tanking extremely unfavorable for them. I mean, look, if I'm San Jose and I'm again the worst team in the league next year, that's kind of a problem. If I get the first overall pick again and I'm again one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst, that's problematic. That I think is a problem.
So yeah, Nashville is out of it. Just so people know, which is big sad.
Come on, Seattle.
The New York Rangers are out of it.
Yep.
The Detroit Red Wings are out of it.
The Boston Bruins are out of it.
Thank God.
Yep.
Oh. Ball's dropping in 5 seconds.
What would a Rossi offer sheet look like? Probably
you just go unmatched.
Yeah, you probably just go unmatched.
Oh my God.
Manifesting Rossi to Boston. I mean, Rossi to Boston would definitely be resonant with what the Boston Bruins have done recently with Murat Kuznetsov coming to town. It would just be more and more speed.
Oh my God.
Why would the Jets give up Nick Ehlers? No money. Yeah, it's largely money, I think, with Ehlers.
It's happened, but I won't say it. I can't believe it.
Did John Buccigross literally just say "Holy shnikes" on national television? That is wild.
William,
what? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I haven't seen nothing yet.
I can't believe it.
Okay, I get it. You're excited. Cool.
I'm excited for somebody.
Oh boy.
Will, it's crazy. Did you see the number?
Oh,
it's the New York Islanders!
The New York Islanders. What the? Oh my goodness. This is why you don't tank, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
This is the kind of thing that can happen. Holy smokes.
Congratulations, Scott F.
Whoa. That is the last team that could make it. That is nuts.
Now they're doing the second draw.
Now they're doing the second draw. That is unbelievable. Holy smokes. Oh my God.
See, it's rigged. It's the other New York team that
Yeah,
won.
it's the team on Long Island. The NHL is rigging this for Long Island. Uh, luckily for Bow P, the Bruins did not win the draft lottery, at least the first draw.
That's just unreal.
Yes. Yeah, Minnesota is getting Ryan Healy. That's fun. We'll see what happens with him.
I can't believe that. That is just so crazy.
Sam Bennett is from Holland Landing in East Gwillimbury in Canada. You're gosh dang right he is. It is not a made-up place. We have some pretty awesome places here in Canada with some pretty awesome names. How many hobbits live there? I can't answer that question because I don't know.
None, because Sam Bennett ate them all for breakfast. That's how he got so mean.
That's true. Yeah, he ate all the hobbits, and yeah, now we don't have any more in Canada. Any thoughts on Travis Hayes? Yeah, I mean, I've seen him quite a bit because I've seen Brady Martin quite a bit in the Sioux, and I think Hayes is an interesting sort of energy guy. I don't know about NHL upside. He'll probably get a pick somewhere like mid to late, and we'll see. I don't have him ranked. But he's an energetic kid. He's got some speed in his game, which is cool. But he's a little small, and I feel like he's a little small in the ways where I'm not sure he projects. And he's one of a few guys in this draft who are a little small and not super productive that I think are fun to watch and might be good junior players, but the rest is a bit murky.
I also have to apologize to Scott because I literally said to him today or yesterday, get out of here. You're not winning the first overall pick.
Manifest.
He's like, I could dream. And
manifest
you know
destiny, and he dreamt.
He dreamt.
The boy dreamt, and Islanders fans can rejoice because holy smokes.
And then in 10 years, when he leaves like John Tavares, your number one pick. No, I'm just kidding.
I just got a message from our resident Russian scout Dylan Griffin. Caleb Desnoyers, you are a New York Islander. No. Honestly, at this point, hey, goes on a Memorial Cup run. You never know.
This is awesome. Now they're doing the second draw.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like, that's so great. It looks like the San Jose Sharks will probably win it.
Yeah. I wish I could show the video of this because then it would mean I have lots and lots and lots and lots of money to pay for the broadcast license. Or I just have such a low bar for committing copyright strike things on YouTube that I just would do it anyway.
There are other more egregious offenders, let's be real.
There are definitely more egregious offenders out there for sure, but I don't even think I could because I think there's DRM software on Sportsnet Plus. I can't even take a screen capture. Like if I want to take a screen capture of something, it doesn't even the screen just goes black, which is crazy to me. Imagine having to go against the Kachucks, and if you win, you get maybe Tom Wilson. That's true. Hey, they never said the Stanley Cup was easy. It's never said it was easy to get one. It's not supposed to be.
Supposedly the hardest trophy in all of professional sports to win. Supposedly.
So we're really looking at San Jose here.
Come on, probably. Utah. Come on, Utah.
There's a lot of San Jose.
Come on, Utah.
Utah would be very interesting.
14.
Yeah,
14.
We'll see. All right, the countdown hasn't started on my my final
it's at
ball.
0 on mine.
My final ball hasn't dropped yet, so we'll get there.
The ball dropped for me.
I like Pinto as well. Yeah, he's pretty solid.
I have seen the ball. I will not say anything.
If Besser's market is soft because of his down year, I could see him going to Carolina on a 1-year deal. Yes, that would be way too smart, for sure. What do you think of Leon Bichsel in Dallas? Big, mean, nasty boy who skates pretty good, and I think he's got a nice future as a bottom 2 pair guy there. No question. Bit of a surprise when they drafted him where they did. What have we got here? Number 3.
Yep.
Oh boy.
I believe that is.
What does that mean?
I forget who that was, but I knew 13 was the New York Islanders right away. It is San Jose.
Now they can turn that machine off. It's too bad. See, again, wouldn't it be so much fun if we did this 16 times? I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, did Utah move up?
I don't know. Let's see.
I think they did.
The second pick. Oh. Okay.
I think Utah might have moved
up.
up.
Yeah, Utah did win. They're up to 4th.
Let's go.
New York, San Jose, and then Utah at 4.
Let's go. I'm happy.
Interesting. Well, I got Bill Armstrong there. Look at that jaw. He looks like Robert Zadar.
I'm just glad that Boston
Especially that he does
moved
this.
down
This is-
further. That's
Oh
all
my
I
God.
care about.
All right. Well, the Sharks are going to get a good player. There's a lot of good players here, you know.
Yeah. Look, they're getting one of the two players that are the top two, really.
After last year, for me, it was so clearly Celebrini Demidov, but it did not go that way at all. I don't know what is going to happen here. Anyone saying they know what's going to happen?
They literally showed the 3 guys who should go top 3.
I know.
I get the feeling that that's the way it is going to go.
You show me Beckett Seneca doing interviews like that come at the draft lottery. It did not happen.
Fine, James Haggins could move out of that group, but that is it.
Look, I'm thinking about this from the angle of NHL. James Haggins has not played hockey in like a month and lost a bunch of playoff games.
Yeah,
so many guys play the under 18s. They're still playing. Memorial Cup is still coming. There is lots of opportunity for people to think about things differently. The combine, interviews.
Here's a question.
I don't think it's set in stone at all.
If you're the New York Islanders, who are you taking?
I don't care.
No, but seriously, who are you taking?
No. Seriously, though?
Because I feel like...
I don't think you're going to screw it up.
I feel like, honestly, they might need a guy like Michael Misa a little more, maybe, but you don't go wrong either way, honestly.
I don't think you go wrong either way. I mean, I look at their defense, I look at their forward group that they've got in the system right now. Yzerman, Ritchie, blah. That's about it.
But center, but like legit 1C.
Yep.
And to me, that is the most valuable position in hockey, the number 1
I
center.
think Misa might be the right call, but God, Schaefer is good, though.
It's tough to say no to Schaefer, too, though.
Schaefer is so good. He is... I think it also really depends on who is running the ship at the draft for them.
That's true, and we don't know yet.
They have we don't know. We have no idea. If they wanted a guy to be more like, if they have a Lou Lamoriello-esque person there who's very sort of 200-foot focused, or at least wants a guy who competes and battles hard and is more defense first as a defenseman, that's not Matthew Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer is like Brent Burns, and is a Lou Lamoriello type going to draft Brent Burns first overall?
No,
or is he going to draft a Michael Misa?
Misa?
Well, true. That's true. So for me, I think you're looking more Michael Misa here. But either way, it's a great player. It's a great player to build with and build on, especially considering you jumped up so much in the draft lottery. That's crazy. And if you're San Jose, for me, I mean, if you're San Jose and it is Michael Misa going first, then Schaefer is not a bad consolation prize whatsoever. Because, again, I said this on Locked On Sharks. I don't know if JD's here, but it makes a ton of sense to me. You have Sam Dickinson as your sort of top-end defense prospect that you've got, and that's about it in terms of real solid high-end defense prospects. And having 2 of those is definitely better than 1, and you've drafted a lot of forwards over the last little while.
Yep.
So I get the feeling if it is Misa 1, Schaefer 2, at least based on what it is now, at least that's my view of those 2 guys being at the top of the list for me. An NHL team might see it differently. All it takes is 1. All it takes is 1 San Jose Sharks GM call, right? Mike Greer to go, we don't want either of those guys. We want bleh,
What a fun draft lottery. Like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I love that stuff. I love it. I love when there's uncertainty and craziness. The
way it should be, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Make it more chaotic. Make it more crazy. Make it completely Looney Tunes out of control.
We're sitting in the position, especially me, I'm sitting in the position of my team's got their core. So
sure.
I'm saying this from a position of privilege, let's say. But like, I think it should be chaotic because it's more fun, and you get the New York Islanders winning the first overall pick.
That looks so weird.
It does.
That looks
It's
so weird.
awesome.
And it's the first time in 15 years, 16 years
Since
since John
John
Tavares.
Tavares.
Since John Tavares.
Hey,
And
you know what
honestly,
would be awesome? If the other exceptional status kid from the OHL who plays center is the next guy that they pick first overall.
Yep.
And then he comes home. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's catch up on some questions here.
What are your opinions on
these? What are your opinions on Matthew Guard? Matthew Guard, big, skates well, hits big. He'll go in the second round. He might be a depth guy in the NHL. Maybe he's like a Brandon Tanev in the future. I don't know. I like Brandon Tanev. Would I draft Brandon Tanev 40th overall? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Okay. If San Jose gets first overall, well, they didn't, so we can move on. Anyway, if there's any team I could see the lottery winning by complete surprise, it's Boston. Wrong. Hagens looks so sad because he realizes he's not going
whining,
first.
You're hurting my ears. No, Rayanne. Screw you.
No. Hagens is Hey, Hagens will go where he goes, and he'll be a good player wherever the heck he ends up because he's a good player.
I pray it's Nashville.
It very well could be. I mean, well, Nashville's 5th. So let's see. So it's Islanders, San Jose, Chicago, Utah. Like if it's Misa, Schaefer, 3, I don't know. Does Hagens go? I mean, Hagens to Chicago would be very interesting.
It would be, but would they do it?
I don't know. Probably not.
They didn't pull the trigger on Ivan Demidov.
It's going to be Radim Mertka. They're going to go Radim Mertka, and then it's going to be Mertka and Levshinov with Crevier and Vlasic. They're going to have all of the big boys. Oh, look who's in the studio for Sportsnet right now. That was fast. Jordan Binnington.
No, that's Jake Allen.
Oh, Jake Allen. Oh my God. That's embarrassing.
Wrong St. Louis Blues goaltender at one time.
Yeah. Sorry. The other guy. My bad. My goalie masks, they hide their face. It's not my fault. I swear. I'm not a moron. Is there any team with too many defensive prospects? Probably not. You can
never have enough.
You can never have too much of anything, really. You just work around it. Which of the big forwards taken in the first round plays with high skill with physicality?
Martone?
Yeah, Martone. Maybe at times Martin. Carter Bear.
Man, the NHL took the balls right off my thumbnail.
Yeah. That's how you know we've made it. The NHL stole our content.
Put me on timeout. Nope. Commercial break. Yep, of course they would do that. But this is way better than what they've done in the past. I love
way better. Yeah, way better. Love it. Would love it if the balls came out a little quicker. You know, it's a little long, but still fun.
Nah, it's gotta cook.
Quicker balls.
No, the ball's gotta cook. The ball's gotta cook.
Quick balls, more picks. That's it. That's what I would say.
No, they gotta extend coverage. Come on, they gotta throw in an ad break at some point.
That's true. Yes, I agree. It does give you a little bit of a gambler's rush, but it's also great because I had no horse in the race whatsoever.
I loved it because seeing it in real time. Oh, this is what this means. The New York Islanders and Pittsburgh Penguins have the best shot at the first overall pick.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I do like Rayanne's idea of using CS:GO cases for NHL draft picks. I like that idea too.
But then there'll be a whole gambling scandal. So I think we should chill.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, then there's a lot of Islanders talk here. That's pretty crazy. Lou Lamoriello was behind the camera, just mean mugging the whole time, and that's what happened. He's gonna
come back.
He used his mind power. You know, when you don't ask Tony Ferrari. When you don't have any hair, you get mind powers. You are capable of manipulating things with your mind, especially when you have vibes like Lou Lamoriello.
Tony used his one on the Austin Matthews draft.
Exactly. Yeah. So Lou Lamoriello, you can thank him. Are there any top 10 draft eligibles in the World Championship? I don't think so. I don't think there are any listed. I don't. I could be wrong, but I doubt that Frondell will be there. I doubt Eklund will be there. I don't. I think Sweden's roster is available. Let's see. Yeah, they don't. I don't think there are any draft eligibles in this year's draft, unless you're talking like undrafted, like re-entry guys. And in that case, let's see what Elite Prospects says. Yeah, I mean nobody really super notable. Urban Podrakar is an interesting one because he plays in the CHL and he's okay, but I don't think he gets drafted. Peter Vesterheim is back at the World Championships. I've always liked him, but again, I don't think he gets drafted. Same thing with Martin Johnson. He's fine, but I don't think he gets picked. Like, I don't think there's anybody who realistically will get picked. The only one, the one I like the most out of all of these players, though, is Peter Vesterheim. But I would expect, unless he has like a spectacular tournament for some reason, I don't think he's gonna be the guy there because he's been kind of stagnant in the Swedish second division. Islanders, and you also asked about top tens, and I don't think any of those guys are that. If Lou were there, they'd take Brady Martin or Logan Hensler first overall. Hey, there's still time. There's still time. Maybe Brady Martin, gold medal, under 18s.
You know who an
I don't have one.
GM on that team is? Chris Lamorello.
His boy.
His son.
It'll
be like The Godfather.
Yeah. Sharks get Misar, Schaefer, F. Yeah. Hey, look, don't count your chickens until they hatch because we have a long way to go for things to get crazy. They always get crazy last minute. What?
The comment that just came in. I went through a lot of the stuff that's there.
Yes.
Like, there's only like 2 real questions left, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe starts with perennial, but then the one that just came in is honestly, I'm glad Boston fell to 7th. They can only hurt me so much now. That said, how should I prepare for the inevitable McQueen pick?
Oh God. Okay. Well, we'll get there. Now that we know the Rangers are 12, what do they do? Well,
something.
Whoever you draft there is almost certainly not there next year, and the Rangers, I don't think they're really in the business of long-term development here.
If I'm them, I defer.
They might defer. Yeah, if I'm the Rangers, I probably defer. When do they have to make that decision? I'm sure it's on Puckpedia. Where are the Rangers
knowing
here?
them, what they're going to do is they're going to keep the pick and trade it.
Historically, teams do keep them.
And trade them.
Yeah, and then trade them. But let's see. They make the decision when here. Draft details. There it is.
It does feel like a Kindle spot, but for us, not for them.
Kindle at 12 in real world would be insane. Quite the surprise. So it doesn't say a date specifically on the conditions here. So that makes me think that they can wait until the draft, which I would.
I would wait until literally the moment I have to make the pick.
Yeah, like the only guy that I would, if it were me, realistically, the only guys that I would be like, I'm not trading that pick or giving it over would be Eklund or
Cullen Potter.
Potter.
Maybe Lakovic.
Potter is very possible. If it's Lakovic, if I think my team is going to be good next year, maybe I go Lakovic. But
they have 48 hours before the draft.
Okay, 48 hours before the draft. Okay, well, I would wait until then. I would just wait and see who you interview, who you like, who you don't, see what other teams have a pretty good idea of who teams like going into the actual draft. So if you get good intelligence and you can see a guy, like, I don't know, to me, a guy like Cullen Potter, I don't know if he's a great fit with the Rangers, but I think he is kind of what they need.
He's definitely not what they want, but
yeah, he's not what they want, but I feel like it's something that would be good for the modern NHL.
It's like he's the hero that they need, not the one they deserve.
I mean, I don't know. I'm also just saying, like, a lot of what I've been saying this evening is like the draft this season is completely. I don't know. You could show me an order of guys in my top 20, and I would go if any of them were in any order, I'd go okay. Like people are like assuming
Schaefer's probably going 1.
Sure, Schaefer's probably going 1, but like very, 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 very quickly it becomes
Who goes at 3?
Okay. Like the guys who go between 3 and 10 could be mind blowing. I don't know. I mean, it was in the NHL draft last year too, right? Like I did not expect Zeev Buium to be in the mid first round.
That was
Zane Parekh was
ridiculous. But
10th. I mean, Carter Yakimchuk in top 10 was a bit of a surprise for me.
Carter Yakimchuk over Z Buium. That's just so mind-bendingly dumb.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you know, it is what it is. Oh god, a Mark Savard meter. That's embarrassing. Where are we here?
Is it a Savard meter? I thought it was a Savvy meter.
Savvy, but Savvy is Savard.
Oh, okay.
I'm judging how excited he is. Because
I'm not
Craig
listening.
Berube told him to chill. Because God forbid you get excited before you win a game. God forbid you show emotion.
Hey,
God forbid.
You know what? You operate best when you're in a peaceful and relaxed state. Okay, something Mitch Marner needs to take to heart. And I love him.
I know how I perform best, and I perform best when I'm purely in panic excitement mode.
So that's why you hired me. That's why you hired me to do that.
Yeah,
to make you panicked and excited.
Exactly. Where are we here? Let's finish this off.
The last one is over under on how many Greyhounds Dubas picks. 2. Like 1.5.
Did they pick any last year?
I don't think so. So I'd say 1.5 is the over under.
Yeah, they're gonna draft half of a person.
No, that's not how it works, Will. Come on now.
What? There's nothing that says they can't. I wonder if they could. I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't be allowed. A sledge hockey player in the NHL. I feel like there's like equipment regulations and it wouldn't be allowed.
What, are you calling a sledge hockey player half a person? What are you ableist?
I'm literally it's the opposite. I'm wondering if they could play in the NHL. That's the opposite of ableism.
But they're half a person now? What is this?
That's not being ableist. Being ableist would be like, if they could never play because they're not strong enough and blah, blah, blah. That's ableist.
They don't skate on 2 feet.
Okay, never mind. Anyway,
I
think that's about it.
And I want to go watch the game. Not for anything, but we've also had a good turnout tonight. I'm excited to. Are we gonna do a mock draft on Thursday? Like your mock draft?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention before we take off. We are going to be doing a community mock draft, and while there's 85 people here, I'll mention it. So what we do every year is we get 3 rounds of picks and get 32 people, including me, to do a fake NHL draft. Everybody gets 3 picks, and we just have some fun for a night. And so we're going to have sign up for that later on this month. So if you are interested in that and want first dibs to be a part of it, it's first come, first served, but for subscribers to Scouching.ca first. And then it'll open to the public if we have any empty teams. And there's always people who drop out. So if you want to also participate, you'll be put on a
wait list kind of thing.
Yeah, you get on a wait list, and there's always people who don't show up the day of, and it's a panic and it's crazy. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, we're gonna do that later this month. So yeah, if you want to be part of that, get yourself a subscription. And also with a subscription, you'll get a bunch of data tools and visualization fun stuff you can play around with, and all of our reports early, especially once Rayanne sends me the other 2 that I need for the rest of the week this week. So no rush, but chop.
Get on it, Rayanne.
Yeah, get on that. Get on it, kiddo.
There was a question that came in. Who do you think will be available at 5 for the Preds? Colin Potter, and that is who they should probably end up picking if he's there.
Goes 5,
Victor Eklund. That's probably the guy.
Yeah, Victor Eklund, but
Colin Potter will definitely be there. That I'm saying.
It might be Hagens.
If it's it could be Hagens.
It might be Hagens, honestly. I don't know. I will never ever underestimate an NHL team's ability to look at a CHL hockey player who's 6'2", 200 pounds, and go, he's a center. That's our guy.
Yeah, and look at a college player that's 5'10".
Look at a college player who lost in the playoffs twice, who's 5'10", does not really score a ton of goals, and there is
180 pounds if you're James Hagens as well.
There is a ton of data that I have where you go, yeah, I mean, Hagens does have some areas to improve, but he's still really, 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 really good. So at your own peril, by all means, go nuts. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun month and a half, and this year's draft is going to be a good one. It's going to be a hoot. And obviously, we're already off to a great start with the Islanders picking first overall, which I don't think I really have come to really compute fully at this point. Well, I think that's going to be it.
Mammoth, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would make a lot of sense, and that would be quite fun.
I'd love that.
I could see it. Yeah. Well, let's get out of here. Let's let AJ watch the Leaf game, and let's do this thing.
Yep.
Thanks very much for joining us. This was as always, a ton of fun to watch the lottery. This year was especially fun. And thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to keep this conversation going and hang out, by all means, you're welcome. And you can hang out with me and my producer, my new dehumidifier. And on that note, we're going to call it. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the game tonight if that's what you're watching. I don't know why you wouldn't if you're a hockey fan. It's going to be sweet.
We love
and,
you.
AJ, enjoy the game, man.
Go Leafs, go! Plan the parade. Stanley Cup's coming home!